I don't fully remember if this is a white supremacist sign or not, but just know I am using it in the purest form it has. Hello all you wonderful people, I'm Y, and Happy New Year's! Or almost Happy New Year's. I don't know when I'm gonna edit this video. But either way, boy has 2020 been a year. We've got plague, natural disaster, racial tension, loss of jobs, and a whole lot of other stuff that's really made this year hard for a lot of people. And while this year has been really tough, I found for me I got a lot of solace through watching movies. And a lot of movies. I went from watching maybe 30 movies last year to watching over 200 this year. And I know because I routinely check my letterbox like religiously. But to be honest, that's not the only reason why I've been watching movies. For the past year, I've slowly been gaining an arch nemesis who watches like 4 movies a day, and it's my single goal to defeat him by watching more movies than him so I can take the place as the ultimate movie watcher. But again, he doesn't know that this is a rivalry, so it's more just me wanting to be competitive. But either way, while living in this year that will probably live in infamy for a very long time, I've noticed a few trends / very weird things when I've been watching movies lately. I was originally going to do a top 5 favorite movies that I've watched in 2020 video, but the audio got really weird. Insert clip here. So yeah, I'm gonna be really paranoid about the audio of this entire video, and let's pray it doesn't get us janky. So whether it be through human error or divine intervention, that video probably isn't ever going to happen. But in my process of low-key panicking about what I'm going to do, I came up with another idea that I think better encapsulate the year 2020. And so today, I will be talking about movies that just hit different in the 2020 year. And throughout this entire watch process, I've realized that wow, Corona really does change the mind, because now whenever I watch a movie, I get the constant subconscious worry about why none of them are wearing masks when they get close to each other. And that's probably going to stay with me for years to come, so that's going to be fun. But ignoring my possible trauma, we'll be ranking these movies from mere coincidence to you should watch this in 2020 and only in 2020 and never again after the year 2020. And warning, spoilers ahead. No, I actually did not watch Contagion or Outbreak throughout this entire quarantining Corona period because I just didn't want to. And with that out of the way, let's get started with number 1, which is Tangled. There's only one thing I have to say about this movie. She's trapped in a room for 18 years, and her kingdom's named Corona. Mere coincidence? Or no, it's just coincidence. That's all. Next! Train to Busan is second on this list because it has zombies, so plague, so relatable, right? But not only should you watch this honestly amazing action movie, it does tackle topics about wealth disparity and how wealthy people tend to have more opportunities and will use them in order to succeed, leaving the poor people to die in a plague. That's not relatable at all. So next we have Warm Bodies, our second and I think last zombie movie on this list. So not to repeat themes, but there's a reason why they just hit different in 2020. It's about a zombie plague where a white guy is trying to build a wall to keep his people safe while ignoring everyone else who's suffering on the outside and letting them starve and die. That's not relatable at all. Next! Next on the list is one of my personal favorites from this year, which is American Psycho. And I am talking like this because I myself hate Patrick Bateman. But I do love Christian Bale's performance in this, and therefore I shall talk like this. Nah, I'm just kidding, I quit. Again, got that back-to-back with that rich people suck aspect. Gee, I wonder why I feel like that this year. It's about an American Wall Street tycoon who's like so rich, but then like purposely just hurts people and gets away with it at the end because he's rich. Also, if the nail on the head isn't hard enough without just hitting different in 2020, it's the fact that Donald Trump's name is mentioned twice in this movie. And yeah, I guess he was a popular rich figure, but that feels like it just hits different in 2020. Next on the list is Black Panther, and this is for obvious reasons. Chadwick Boseman, a very popular black celebrity and actor, died this year of colon cancer. And not only did that create a huge ripple throughout the Black community in a year where we were already having a very hard time, he was also a beloved actor, and he did pretty damn good. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is not on this list because I don't like that movie, but I did appreciate his performance. But the movie I watched that weekend when I heard Chadwick Boseman die was Black Panther. And I can absolutely say it hits different in 2020. Also, Killmonger wanting to free Black people from their oppressive systems really does hit different in 2020. Next. I have seen Parasite approximately 4 times, which, while not a lot, is a lot for me considering this movie just came out last year. And I think it's the last one on this list that directly talks about eating the rich per se, but I think it's the one that does it the best in 2019, and I just wanted to highlight it as one movie that sure does hit different in 2020. What I like about it, especially to bring it on more of a natural disaster side of things with 2020, which has been a serious problem, is the fact that at the end, when they're having this huge rain shower and it completely just decimates these more poor, impoverished neighborhoods, that really confuses the aid, and how at the end of the day it doesn't really affect the rich, and that the rich don't do enough to help those people who are being affected by these natural disasters. Instead, citing these natural disasters as being slight inconveniences while never truly helping the people who they've affected the most. So yeah, Parasite's a great movie, go watch it. In fact, just watch all these movies I'm talking about if you haven't already. And with that, let's get into the ones that especially hit different in 2020. Fun fact, actually, I have trouble making this sign, my muscles don't like doing that. So moving on to the first one it's the one I think about the most in the year of our Lord 2020, because I think it really shows an issue with how Western countries have been dealing with the pandemic and Asian countries have been dealing with the pandemic. And that goes with The Farewell. While most of this movie has nothing to do with anything that honestly hits different or relates to 2020, what I find interesting, the thesis that kind of goes with this film, with how Awkwafina's character reacts to her entire family basically lying to her grandmother about her, inevitable death, basically. And it was a line that was said by their mother or father, I believe. I watched this earlier in the year, so I don't have a super strong memory of it. Is when they were talking about the difference in culture and how in America we have this very individualized culture that focuses a lot on the health and benefits of the individual instead of the whole. And where they're at in China, they focus more on the whole and working together as a community. And that themes kind of show a lot about how people have reacted to dealing with the pandemic, where in America and a lot of Western countries, or especially in America, to be honest, it's our right to not wear a mask because freedom and individualism in America, when this is why we're still having a very harsh pandemic. To be fair, also due to our government leaders being actual idiots. But I do think that has a part in play in why people don't want to wear masks and why people don't want to do this. While in isn't Taiwan having concerts again? I want that. I don't even like concerts, but I want concerts. And I do think that has a part to play, especially because mask wearing is much more common over there instead of here. And I'm not going to delve into an existential crisis about the pandemic again, but I do think this message, it's a one-line thing, really does, and I quote, hit different in 2020. This really about to be a white supremacy symbol, isn't it? Next on the list of definitely more than just a coincidence is Blind Spotting. I was recommended this movie because I was working with this person on a screenplay that actually ended up going nowhere. And I watched this mostly because I just finished watching Hamilton and I wanted more Daveed Diggs in my life. So yeah, race in America. This is the last one on the list that distinctly just talks about race. But boy, does it do an excellent job of it. And while yes, you should watch this for the performances, and I think the performances are excellent, but this does to me the best job of fully describing a lot of the confusion that goes with topics of race in America. And it's definitely one of the more unique approaches I've seen in my long lives of watching racist movies, What I like about this one is, while yes, the ending is definitely iconic and arguably the best part of the movie, my personal favorite part is when Miles and David Diggs' characters, Colin, are arguing about basically the roles their race plays and how they act. Throughout the entire film, Miles, a white guy, is acting very like aggressive and strong and trying and keep continuously getting in trouble, while Colin, who is on parole right now, is constantly trying to push him back. And you can see this constant fear of him like trying to act, because he knows if he acts like Miles, he will be treated much worse than Miles ever has been treated. And with that, let's think about the 2020 protests and how certain groups of people not only have been treated worse than other people, but also the fact that in some of the BLM protests, how white people are starting to recognize that they can like actually stop violence or like lessen the chance of violence by like white shielding around like the people of color. And every time I see those videos, I absolutely love them because they're using their skin to their advantage, and good for them. I can absolutely say that in wake of the most recent rise of BLM protests, Blind Spotting definitely hits different. So we have 3 more, and this next one is Logan Lucky, a film that I thought I would absolutely hate because it features a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily care about or have strong emotional ties toward. But boy, that ending is one of my favorite endings that I've ever seen. The ending basically covers how the value of money changes from corporations to like regular people, and the fact that corporations could give just like a little bit of their money and it would go the longest way towards people who need it, towards the regular person who's struggling to survive. And in wake of the most recent stimulus check in America, $600, I can, this hits different. Also, what I like about it, and maybe it's just me and the type of stuff I watch, I don't see enough movies about poor white people, so that was nice to see. But I remember the ending because it made me feel things, and it's definitely worth a watch. Go watch it. Last time I checked, it was on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's still there, but find a way to watch it if you can. The ending definitely is worth it. Second to last on our list, and I don't know why it's this high other than I kind of hated this movie, and this was the one thing I kind of liked about it, is Phineas and Ferb, Candace Against the Universe. The only film on this entire list that actually was made in 2020. I don't like this movie at all, but the ending does feature all the protagonists wearing masks because there's an airborne danger. And if that doesn't sum up 2020 in one way, I don't know what else does. And last on the list is one of my personal favorite movies of this entire year, and that is a documentary from 2006, if I believe, called Jesus Camp. This movie is about the indoctrination of Christian kids into right-wing politics and right-wing Christianity. And as someone who grew up as a church kid, it already hit different for me. But especially seeing a lot of like these 6 to 8-ish year olds who were my age at the time being indoctrinated to praise George Bush as being a Christian leader, and that we have to be child soldiers for Christ and be as disciplined as the Muslims who train their children, and all these people can now vote. And I watched this right after the election. Not only did this kind of show me that nothing ever changes in politics, truly, this movie is personally my favorite documentary, and I would rewatch it, but it caused me a lot of stress because, again, there's just so much like propaganda in that, and it just kind of like triggers me back to my church days in a way that I don't really like. So with that, I think Jesus Camp is honestly, at least in America, the film that most encapsulates all that is 2020. And honestly, watch it now or realistically don't watch it ever again, because until we get another like super dumb, I don't want to talk about Trump anymore, but until we get another president like Trump, this movie probably is not going to hit the same. Yes, I'll always be a little nostalgia bit for you, This is definitely a movie that you want to watch as soon as possible, and probably, honestly, makes the most sense during 2020 because you know these kids now have the right to vote. And with that, I am finished with my list from mere coincidence to films you can only watch in 2020. And it's been a year. Hopefully next year will be better. Now, if I'm correct from editing my video that kind of failed the first time, I think that ending audio still works, so I'm actually going to turn it to that now. But yeah, so I would like to thank anyone who's watched this video, and not only this video, but any of my other videos. Either way, I hope that you've learned something or have enjoyed yourself by watching any of my content. And if you like anything, please feel free to share it. I would like to be able to grow my channel, hopefully have 100 subscribers by my next birthday. And I'm not telling you what my birthday is, but that is my own personal goal. I hope you continue to watch movies and TV shows and fall in love with more movies and TV shows until we all have something that we absolutely want to watch again and again and again, like I have this year. So again, this has been another story time with Y. I'm probably going to change the name of this channel eventually, and I hope you all have a happy day. Again, if you've watched this video, you're automatically cooler than anyone who stopped halfway through, and I'll see you later. Bye!